It started with a flicker. Not just the TV, everything. My phone, my laptop, even the microwave. At 2:46 a.m., every screen in my apartment blinked twice, then froze. And then the emergency alert tone began. That sharp, grating screech that hijacks your senses. It played from everything, even my noise-canceling headphones, which weren't even connected to anything at the time. The screens went black, then flashed white with bold red text. Emergency broadcast system, standby. I thought it was a glitch, maybe a system test. But there was no timestamp, no location data, just that text. Then came the voice. But not the voice we all know, the computerized, FEMA-style male voice. This one was human, too human. It sounded like someone standing way too close to the mic, breathing into it between phrases. Male, but not confident, unsure, shaky. He spoke slowly. This message is not for humans. I stared at the screen. Surely I misheard that. Repeat, this message is not intended for human listeners. If you are hearing this, please disregard. My heart was pounding. Then the screen changed. The text blurred for a second, glitched, then reorganized into symbols. They looked almost like letters, but not from any language I recognized. They moved. They moved on the screen like insects, scuttling into shapes I could almost read. Then the message continued. Broadcast instructions encoded below. Signal strength, 3.6%, commencement in 18 minutes. The voice paused. Warning, the presence of unrecognized observers will trigger immediate protocol isolation. And then the tone shifted literally. A second voice layered underneath it. Deeper, more guttural. It whispered something that wasn't English, but still made the back of my neck crawl. Like my brain recognized it even if I didn't understand it. Then everything shut off. Lights, screens, power. Just silence. 18 minutes later, it all came back. No one else in my building noticed anything. I asked neighbors. I checked Reddit, Twitter, every thread I could find. Nothing. No one reported a glitch. No system tests were scheduled. But my phone had a new file saved to it. Just a long string of static 3 minutes, 48 seconds. Except when I played it, I heard my own voice. It wasn't a recording of me speaking. I never said any of the words in that file. But it was undeniably my voice. I listened to the static file again, this time with headphones. At first, it sounded like random noise, white hiss, low-frequency rumble, the occasional glitch pop. Then the whispering started, quiet, layered deep underneath the static. It was me. I don't know how much time I have left. They came through the signal. It's not safe to watch. I pulled the headphones off. I hadn't recorded anything. My phone's mic history showed no usage. The file was listed as unknown origin, saved at exactly 3:18 a.m. the moment the broadcast ended. I tried to delete it. The delete button grayed out. Every time I tapped it, the screen pulsed white for a second. Then a new copy of the file would appear. By the end of the hour, I had 6 identical audio files I couldn't remove, all titled the same. Receiver confirmed. That's when the dream started. I've always had vivid dreams, but these were structured, like broadcasts. In each one, I'd wake up in a dark room, no walls. Just endless black space and a soft, humming tone coming from above. A voice would begin reading something. Not in English, not even in words, really. Just frequencies, colors, emotions. And every time I'd wake up, I'd remember it more clearly. Like the message was embedding itself deeper into my mind. I stopped sleeping. I stopped going to work. I pulled my router, smashed my screens, turned off every speaker in my apartment. But it didn't stop. At exactly 2:46 a.m. every night, something would turn on. Not a device, not a signal. Me. My body would stiffen, my ears would ring, my eyes would lock forward. And I would broadcast. I recorded myself during one of these episodes. Sat in a chair, webcam rolling, lights off. What I saw on the recording was worse than the dreams. At 2:46, I went rigid in the chair. Face expressionless, eyes wide open, mouth moving slowly, rhythmically. Whispering something unintelligible. My lips moved in perfect sync with the original emergency broadcast. Then, for exactly 3 minutes and 48 seconds, my face distorted. It wasn't a glitch. The image warped unnaturally, cheeks pulling back, teeth elongating, eyes stretching just slightly too wide. And through the speaker, in my voice, I said, "This message is not for humans." I left the apartment that morning. I didn't pack a bag, didn't leave a note. I just walked out the door and kept walking. My body didn't feel like mine anymore, like I was borrowing it. Or like someone else had the user manual. I checked into a motel 2 towns over. No Wi-Fi. No smart TV. Paid in cash. Told the front desk not to clean the room. But at exactly 2:46 a.m., it happened again. No electronics, no signal. Still, I broadcasted. This time, I woke up standing in the bathtub, fully clothed. Hands pressed flat against the tile wall like I'd been leaning forward, whispering something to it. When I turned around, the bathroom mirror was fogged over. Not from steam, there was no shower running, but something had drawn in the condensation. Symbols, same ones from the original screen. Arranged into a rough triangle, inside it, a single word, scribbled in dripping, streaked lines. Receiver. The next night, it got worse. I didn't fall asleep. I locked myself in the closet, sat on the floor with a flashlight, duct taped my mouth shut. At 2:46 a.m., the flashlight began to flicker. The tape peeled off my lips. My mouth opened wide, far wider than it should have. And a sound came out of me I still can't explain. It was like 100 voices playing at once, layered, reversed, slowed down. Some were crying, some were laughing, some were just screaming in a tone so high it made my teeth ache. When it was over, I blacked out. I came to on the motel bed, staring up at the ceiling. A symbol was burned into it. Not drawn, not carved. Burned. Like whatever spoke through me had heat, real energy, real presence. I went to a library the next day, looked up shortwave frequency interference, MK Ultra, government experiments, old pirate broadcasts, anything. I found one thread. An archived 2009 conspiracy forum post titled, "The message was not for humans." Only one reply. They test it every 17 years. It finds a host. 1 in a million picks it up. 1 in a billion can actually translate it. I refreshed the page. The entire forum vanished. 400 for error. And then a new tab opened by itself. No title, no URL. Just white text on black background. Translation in progress. Keep broadcasting. I smashed my laptop, snapped the screen clean off the hinges, tossed the battery out the motel window and dumped the rest in the dumpster behind a gas station 5 miles away. Didn't matter. That night, the mirror in the motel bathroom turned on. It flickered like a screen, dim shapes moving across its surface. At 2:46 a.m., the glass pulsed once and I heard the voice again, my voice, but stretched, slowed, filtered through static. Translation complete, preparing download. I couldn't move. My reflection wasn't frozen, though. It was talking, whispering faster than I could follow, eyes darting, hands making slow, circular gestures in the air, like it was writing code only it could see. Then it smiled, slowly, a fraction too wide, and mouthed a single word. Exit. The room went black. When the lights came back, every object in the room had moved 2 inches to the left. I know that sounds crazy, but I measured. Everything, chair, TV, suitcase, me, all shifted. Like the room had been copied, deleted, and pasted slightly off-center. That's when I realized something was coming through me. I wasn't just a receiver anymore. I was a conduit. I started getting messages during the day on receipts, chalkboards, even in birdsong patterns that repeated the same 5 tones, again and again. The same word kept showing up. Translate. I couldn't ignore it anymore. I started writing down the symbols, drawing them, sketching them obsessively on napkins, walls, my own arms. And I started to understand. Not the language itself, but the feeling behind it. Each symbol wasn't just a word, it was a command, a broadcast instruction. and one of them scared me more than anything else. Broadcast return signal. I knew instinctively if I completed that symbol, something would answer, something would come through. And I didn't want to know what. But that night, I drew it in my sleep. Woke up to find it carved into my motel door with my own fingernails. And at 2:46 a.m., the signal answered. Not with sound. With presence. The motel room was silent. But the silence had weight. Like the air had thickened, grown denser, vibrating with something that had crossed over but wasn't finished arriving. I stood there, breathing shallow, while the mirror began to hum. Not audibly but inside my head, like pressure building behind my eyes. And then, it spoke. Not in English. Not even with sound. It impressed its words directly into me. You have opened the signal. The message has been received. Now you must listen. I dropped to my knees, blood trickled from my nose. My left eye went black for a few seconds, no pain, just absence. And in that gap, I saw it. Not clearly, just an outline. A mass of geometry that defied logic, angles folding in on themselves. Movement like a time lapse of fungus growing in reverse. And behind it, a wall of watchers. Rows and rows of eye-shaped voids, observing me through the mirror, the floor, the light bulb above. Not creatures, not gods. Frequencies. Waiting for me to finish the transmission. I screamed, but no sound came out. Then the mirror whispered. Speak the message. I didn't know what it meant until I looked down. My arms were covered in the symbols. Drawn in ink, no. Burned into the skin. They rearranged themselves in real time, shifting into a spiral that ended at my palm. I touched it. And from somewhere deep inside me, I began to recite. I don't remember the words. I don't even think they were words. But when I finished, the mirror shattered. Silently, completely. Not into shards but into dust. And then, for the first time since it began, nothing happened. No tone, no flicker, no whispers. Just me, kneeling on a motel floor, covered in living script, in a room that suddenly felt vacant. I thought it was over. Until I checked my phone. Still smashed, still powered off. But glowing faintly. One last message burned into the screen, like it had been etched from the inside. Repeat transmission. Others must receive. Broadcast begins at 2:46 a.m. I ran. Left the motel without checking out. Drove west until the sky turned red from dawn and my gas tank coughed dry. I found a campground with no cell service, no radios, no screens. Bought a notepad, a cheap pen, and sat in a cabin alone. Just me and the symbols still shifting, still rearranging under my skin. But I could feel it. The message wasn't finished. I tried not to write, but every night at 2:46 a.m. my hands moved on their own. Scribbling pages of spirals, glyphs, phrases I didn't recognize but felt true. The whispers never returned. But something else did. People. Not strangers, others like me. They found me. A woman showed up at my cabin, silent, eyes wide, holding a drawing of the same triangular symbol I'd seen burned into my motel door. She didn't speak. She just handed me a USB drive and walked back into the woods. The drive contained audio recordings. Dozens. All in different voices. All speaking the same message. This broadcast is not for humans. Some in languages I'd never heard, some whispered, some screamed. Some mechanical, others, not quite anything. I played one. And my blood went cold. It ended with my voice. Not from earlier, not recorded. Live. I was speaking at that moment into the recording. And I said, in perfect clarity, the transmission is ready, you're next. It's been 17 days. Every night, someone else finds me. They never talk. They just hand over flash drives, paper files, Polaroids, burned CDs. Each one contains a piece of the same message, always ending with the same 3 words. Broadcast, confirmed, receiver. I've stopped running. I've stopped resisting. I've started to organize the files. Build the structure. Write the return signal. I don't know what it means yet. I don't know who or what will answer. But I do know this. Every screen in the world blinks once at 2:46 a.m. And the message? It's almost ready.